Good afternoon, New Brunswick, and welcome to the New Brunswick Today show for today, Friday, January 20th. I'm your host, Charlie Cradaville. It is 12:45 right now, and the United States of America has just sworn in its 45th president. And many of us still cannot believe that it is Donald J. Trump. So on today's show, we're going to explore Trump's shady history here in New Jersey. And we're also going to tell you how you can help New Brunswick Today fight back against the Trump administration by supporting an exciting new campaign. So please stay tuned and please do us a favor. Share this broadcast right now with your friends on Facebook so they can learn with us, along with us, about Trump's NJ connections. We've got a lot of exciting stuff to share with you. Now, it is 42 degrees and cloudy here today in downtown New Brunswick. The high is going to be 46 degrees and the low tonight will be 38. We are expecting some rain later this afternoon. But before we go any further with this show, you are invited to join us for a very special occasion. It's our 5th anniversary here at New Brunswick Today, so we are encouraging folks to come out to our 5th anniversary gala celebration. The fun starts at 6:30 p.m. 1 week from tomorrow. That is Saturday, January 28th. And here, take a look at the venue. This is the Dillinger Room, a beautiful bar and restaurant at 338 George Street here in downtown. This room will be the place to be that night. We're going to be celebrating our success and our accomplishments over these last 5 years. Plus, we'll have some very exciting announcements for you about this campaign that launches today, a campaign that will help keep New Brunswick Today fighting for the people of New Brunswick in these challenging times. So please join us for that special event on January 28th. We're going to have great food, drink specials, plus live music from the Danielle Ilario Quartet. So you won't want to miss this chance to meet all of our team members and all the others who help make our work possible and share in this special moment with us. Now, it is $50 to attend this special gala, but I'm going to tell you right now how to get a huge discount. Just become a member of New Brunswick Today by visiting members.newbrunswicktoday.com. All New Brunswick Today members are going to get 80% off their admission to this gala, so it's just $10 for members to attend. Please join New Brunswick Today and join us on the 28th. We'll have more on that campaign later in the show, but today our top story is that it is the first day of a new presidential administration, and the new president has several questionable ties to our home state of New Jersey, including his friendship and political alliance with embattled Governor Christie. At New Brunswick Today, we don't pull any punches. We speak truth to power, and we ask tough questions of our elected leaders. While we haven't yet had the chance to ask Trump a question, we did ask his buddy, Christie, a question back in April, and we asked about Trump. The governor is, of course, currently a criminal defendant, and we asked him about Trump's best-known connection to New Jersey at this press conference, where he was attacking Atlantic City's municipal government, blaming them for the economic problems that that city is currently suffering from. Now, of course, Trump is famous for owning several casinos in the city, all of which went out of business in spectacular fashion. It was perhaps the biggest and most famous failure in the history of the casino business, a business where the house supposedly always wins. But that is, of course, until Christie got elected governor and roped New Jersey's government into that casino business, blowing billions on the failed Revel Casino, which closed after just 2 years. Now, Christie is a notorious, abrasive, and unpopular governor here in New Jersey. He's been in power for the past 7 years, but he's now facing up to 5 years in prison if he's convicted of a pending charge of official misconduct, one that is related to the absurd Bridgegate scheme that resulted in federal criminal convictions against 3 of his appointees. Now, after Christie said publicly back at this April press conference something that he tries to only work with honorable people when it comes to Atlantic City, after I heard that, I raised my hand and I asked Christie if he thought Trump was an honorable person. Christie responded by saying that yes, he thinks Trump is an honorable man, but he also responded by calling me a joker and encouraging the other reporters in the room to beat me up. So here, take a look at this classic clip from April. We'll be right back.
Where are you from?
I'm Charlie Pratt. I'm from Brunswick.
Okay. New face in the crowd.
You mentioned working with honorable people in Atlantic City, and I want to ask how much to blame do you think Donald Trump is for the situation that he's in? Is he an honorable person?
He is an honorable person, and I don't believe he's ever been a office holder in Atlantic City. I don't remember Donald being mayor on the council, so he had no ability to make decisions, as far as I could tell, over how they spent their money, how much debt they went into, and whether there were pensions for lifeguards or not. So I don't think he's got a lot to do with it, but you know, it would not be a press conference on something serious without some joker asking me about Donald Trump. Yeah.
One more, please.
Yeah, we're not. Listen, it's you get one Trump question a press conference when I'm actually out here on substance, and the new guy back there, go beat him up. He's the one who took over. That's absolutely ridiculous. Dustin, can't hear you. Don't know. Can't hear you. Sorry. Loss of hearing.
So, on November 9th, many Americans woke up to the shocking news that Trump had prevailed in the presidential election. We covered that extensively on this program. But something else happened that same morning that was overshadowed by the election. Christie finally got his wish, and the state of New Jersey officially took over Atlantic City, effectively eliminating the municipal government's role. He's been able to appoint his own person to run that city, one of his lawyer buddies who used to work with Christie when Christie was the U.S. Attorney for New Jersey. That man is Jeffrey Chiesa. Here is a picture of him. Chiesa also served as one of Christie's attorneys general here in New Jersey, and he was even appointed to briefly serve as a United States Senator after the death of Frank Lautenberg. And now Chiesa, who is a Somerset County resident, is officially in charge of Atlantic City. And he's actually being paid $400 an hour to do that work in that struggling city. Chiesa works for his own law firm, a firm that recently changed its name, just as one of its top people and one of Christie's best friends pled guilty to a federal felony and left the firm. That firm was, of course, called Wolf and Sampson. The Sampson in that name being David Sampson, the New Jersey Attorney General under the notoriously corrupt administration of former Governor Jim McGreevey, who hailed from Middlesex County. Now, Sampson served as the powerful chairman of the board at the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey during Christie's administration, at least the first part of it. And that's where he was implicated in emails as potentially threatening retaliation in response to the Bridgegate scandal being exposed, or people inquiring about that. But he weathered that storm, at least for a few months, until he got in trouble for abusing his own power by extorting United Airlines. He actually pleaded guilty. United Airlines ended up replacing their CEO, and they also had to pay a multi-million-dollar fine in this scandal. Now, Christie was so close to Sampson and looked up to him so much that he had an unusual nickname for him, one that's usually reserved for high-ranking military officials. By some accounts, Christie considered Sampson to be his best friend or his closest confidant, and in fact, Christie loved this particular convicted felon so much that he would refer to him as General Sampson or the General. But we're actually here today to talk to you about some other generals that once marched on the field at Giant Stadium here in New Jersey as part of a unique and historic experiment in sports, one that many older New Jerseyans might remember fondly. So what I'm talking about is the New Jersey Generals. These are photos of a football team that you might remember from the 1980s. They played for 3 years, 1983, 1984, and 1985. And this was a very special time in football. This came on the heels of a players' strike in the National Football League. A lot of people were fed up with the NFL that year. They were only able to play 9 games that year instead of their normal 16-game season due to that players' strike. And it would happen to be at the same time that a bunch of business leaders, businessmen were getting together trying to start their own football league. That football league became the United States Football League, known as the USFL. It had an interesting strategy. They were competing with the NFL. the mega $1 million league, they competed indirectly with them. So they competed for players, for coaches, for fans, but it wasn't direct competition because they played football in the spring. Something that really had not been done before and has not really been successful ever since. But the USFL found a way to make it work. They played games in the same stadiums that many NFL teams did. They had tremendous success getting people to watch on television. They also offered cheaper tickets than the NFL, and those tickets were actually easier to get. This is back at a time, a lot of you might not remember, that you would have to wait years and years and years to get season tickets to, say, the New York Giants, who played at the same stadium as these New Jersey Generals. And not only were tickets cheaper and easier to get, but the game was more fun and exciting. The slogan of the league was, "Where football is still a game." They encouraged players to have fun while they were playing and to do some other interesting things that ended up making their way into the NFL. So, for instance, in the 90s, the NFL added the two-point conversion, which the USFL had for all 3 years that it existed. The USFL also invented the modern system of instant replay review. So when the referees mess up a call, they were actually back in the 80s using that very same red flag that the coaches would throw on the field and ask for a video review of the play and potentially changing the ruling on the field. That's a system that the NFL didn't adopt until the 2000s. The league also proved that several cities could support professional football teams, cities that people weren't sure could before. Those cities have since gotten NFL teams, places like Jacksonville, states like Tennessee and Arizona, and they really opened up the possibilities for these cities to get NFL teams. It's also worth noting that some of the best NFL players got their start in the USFL. Here in the USFL pictures, you'll see Jim Kelly was one of those players. Steve Young was one of those players. Reggie White and many other famous players. You might know that the best football player in college football every year is given the Heisman Trophy Award. For all 3 years that the USFL existed, the Heisman Trophy winner chose the USFL over the NFL. And the last and possibly best reason that the USFL was a good thing and a cool thing was that they had a team that wasn't afraid to admit they were from New Jersey. That team was the New Jersey Generals. Of course, the New York Giants and the New York Jets play football in New Jersey, but they keep New York in their name. This was a league and a team that was not afraid to admit it was from New Jersey. Now, what happened next is still bothering me. But in 1984, Donald Trump bought the New Jersey Generals. The reality is that had Donald Trump not purchased the New Jersey Generals, not only might the USFL still be around today, but chances are no one outside of the New York area would know who Donald Trump ever was. Donald Trump, we know he is a master manipulator of the media. He is very effective at getting media attention, and he found a really effective way of doing that by buying the New Jersey Generals in this exciting upstart league. He at first was very well liked. He was by far the most well-known owner in the league. He attracted some very talented players, like for instance the 1985 Heisman Trophy winner Doug Flutie, who went on to have a long career with other football leagues, including the NFL and the Canadian Football League. And Donald Trump at first was off to a good start, but he tried to make that league great again. And what he did ruined it. He convinced the other owners of all the other teams that the path forward to success and survival was ditching the concept of spring football, the very thing that made the USFL great and that made it able to succeed. He wanted to get rid of that and start competing directly head-to-head with the humongous, or as he would say, huge NFL. And as a result, the league collapsed and went broke. In typical Trump fashion, he convinced the owners of the league to put all their eggs in one basket and actually sue the NFL for supposed antitrust violations. Now, antitrust laws were created to prevent monopolies from dominating certain business fields. Football is still today a business that you could argue is run by a monopoly, the National Football League. Trump was going to try to challenge that monopoly in the courts, and he convinced the other owners to go along with it and convinced them that there would be a big payday at the end of it. He got one of his scummy attorneys involved, and that attorney represented the USFL in this high-profile lawsuit. So before the 1985 season, the owners had already decided we're going to switch to the fall starting in 1986. A lot of people were worried about that. They weren't sure if the league could survive, but Trump told them it'll be okay. We're going to sue the NFL, and we are going to get big money, and we're going to be able to survive even longer. Well, here's what happened in that case. It is one for the books. That case, the jury ruled in the USFL's favor. The jury decided that the NFL was a monopoly and that the NFL did abuse its monopoly power, specifically dealing with TV contracts and trying to keep the USFL out of their market. But the jury also agreed that Trump and the USFL's leadership was their own worst enemy, and they had done irreparable damage to themselves. And so the jury decided that the USFL won the case, but awarded them only $1. So that is how the USFL ended. That's why we don't have spring football anymore. That's why we don't have a football team that's comfortable admitting they are from New Jersey. And that is why people know who Donald Trump is all over the country because of that. Of course, he went on to parlay that celebrity status into his casino business and all of his other businesses that he's had over the years. He, of course, became even more famous by getting NBC to give him the show The Apprentice, and has since 2000 at least been very involved in politics as an outsider, but of course forging alliances with some of the worst establishment politicians like our governor here, Christie. So please take a look at Donald Trump and let's work hard to make sure he doesn't do to our country what he did to the United States Football League. Now, we are going to be a part of that. New Brunswick Today is stepping up our coverage of the federal government because of the Trump presidency, because so many people here are concerned about what that Trump presidency means for New Brunswick. We actually interviewed the mayor earlier this week. We asked him what he thought of Donald Trump, what he thinks we can expect. You can listen to that interview on our YouTube page. And now I'm going to tell you how you can help us hold the Trump administration accountable. We are proud to be the only bilingual community newspaper in the city of New Brunswick and the only bilingual community newspaper anywhere in New Jersey. But we just cannot keep doing this work without support from viewers and readers like you. That's why today, on this first day of the new administration, we are announcing a campaign that will help us grow and expand our operation thanks to small monthly donations from our readers and supporters. Over the next 45 days, we're going to get hundreds of folks involved in this campaign, having them become members of New Brunswick Today. As I told you before, you can go to this website and monitor the campaign and become a member, members.newbrunswicktoday.com. And for as little as $5 per month, you can get the only independent bilingual community newspaper mailed to you anywhere in the United States, plus get other special benefits. Just visit newbrunswicktoday.com to become a member today, and we hope to see you at that special event where all our members are going to get a discount. Again, if we could just show that picture of the Dillinger Room, we're going to be having our event on January 28th at 6:30 p.m. All are welcome. Again, there's an 80% discount for folks who are members in New Brunswick Today, and we encourage you to join us at that event so you can meet us and see firsthand the movement that we have here, the group of great people that care about our city so much that we devote our time to empowering the community and educating the community with videos like this, articles like the ones you'll find, and the a bilingual print edition of New Brunswick Today. Now, we're going to end today's show with hopefully a hopeful note. You'll see on the front page of our most recent issue of New Brunswick Today, we've got the story about the anti-Trump movement here in New Brunswick, and we have a video here that we're going to start that is from November 16th. This was just 8 days after President Trump won the election, and the Rutgers community and the rest of the New Brunswick community came out in full force for a massive protest that was exceeded expectations. It actually got hundreds, if not thousands, of people out in the streets marching through New Brunswick, and garnered not just attention from the New York TV stations and from outlets like New Brunswick Today, but even got national media attention. We saw the news helicopters hovering overhead. This was a very memorable occasion and a very encouraging occasion to see so many people, especially young people, taking to the streets to stick up for the rights of immigrants and other oppressed populations and stand up against President Donald Trump. It was definitely an impressive showing. So we are going to end on that note today. We hope you have a great weekend, New Brunswick. Please support us, become a member today, and join us at that great 5th anniversary event on January 28th. Thanks for watching, and God bless. Have a great day.
Oh my God.
That's okay. Isn't that important?